And settling, I have Andy Duncan, who will be presenting for Boardwalktech. I'm going to hand the mic off to him.
Thanks, everybody. Happy to be here at Planet MicroCap this year. Appreciate your attendance. Happy to tell you all about Boardwalktech. So all values are in US dollars, by the way. So who we are. So Boardwalk is based in Cupertino, California. We've got an operation in Mumbai, India. We're worldwide. We have customers around the world. We've developed groundbreaking technology and solutions focused on enterprise information management. We solve a massive problem in the market today that you're going to continue to hear a lot more about, where we work with companies to help them to connect, manage, and understand all of their unstructured data. Today, our solution is trusted by many global Fortune 500 companies, including Apple, EY, Meta, and Estee Lauder. We'll show you some more later. So our mission is to create a single version of the truth for all enterprise information by unifying all of their unstructured and structured data for intelligent information workflows, driving faster, more insightful decisions. Yesterday, there was a discussion about AI in the last conference. And, you know, AI is all about, do you have the right data, right? You can go out everywhere and run AI, but are you really getting the right data? Getting control in an enterprise over their data, and specifically their unstructured data, is a key to being able to really facilitate better AI results. So let's look at the market here. This is pretty astounding. So you guys know that data in the world is doubling every 2 years. In the enterprise, it's the same thing. And 80% of that data is unstructured today. So 20% is structured. So the difference between unstructured and structured data is structured data is in a database, unstructured data is not. 80% worldwide data in the enterprise, unstructured. It's a really big problem. When you look at the overall market for enterprise digital transformation, which all enterprises are talking about, how do I digitally transform my organization to be better? $3.4 trillion is going to be spent over the next 4 or 5 years on tools to help companies digitally transform. And so when you look at companies today that have been working in what we kind of call the old school of data management, this quote that was just in February of this year from PwC, where they interviewed 1,000 supply chain executives, and 83% have said they don't see value in all of the money that they've spent on these siloed supply chain solutions. You know, the supply chain is a mess. It's going to continue to be a mess. And we think that we've got a really good way to be able to help solve a lot of the major problems in the enterprise. So companies to date have spent billions of dollars on wrangling data, yet they still have no unified method of managing all of and understanding and unlocking the value of unstructured data, aside from what we would call inefficient, siloed, SQL-centric approaches. So a lot of these data lake guys, you know, that are out there, while they've created billions of dollars of value, they're just taking the data and dumping it into a data lake, and then getting it back out is really hard and really expensive to understand what's going on. So Boardwalk has developed a new way. And effectively what we've created is what's called the Boardwalk Data Management Platform. And when you look at the enterprise stack today here, you'll see that, you know, most companies have got SAP or Oracle and Salesforce and Slack and Amazon and HR systems from Workday and Microsoft Office tools, but no one is out there talking about managing the information. No one is out there talking about all of the unstructured data that is bouncing around these organizations. So we are the first platform that's dedicated to all types of information, including unstructured, structured, and semi-structured. we've got a patented data model where we don't use SQL to manage the data. And this is a major differentiator between us and everybody else. Everybody else uses SQL to manage the data. So getting it in is really hard. Getting it back out is hard. Managing all these data models. We don't do that. We can automatically absorb all of the data without having to transform it to SQL. So for those of you that want to get geeky with me later this afternoon or tonight or tomorrow at our breakout sessions, I'm happy to go deep with you on that. Our platform provides persistence, provenance, isolation, time management, and collaboration. So we effectively can absorb any type of data and very rapidly turn that into an enterprise application. We have the ability to extract and understand intelligence from both documents and from Microsoft Excel spreadsheets. And we've been specializing for a long time in helping companies to transform all of these manual spreadsheet processes into an enterprise application. So when we sit down with an enterprise, with a CIO, and we say, what are you doing about unstructured data? He or she says it's a mess. We have no way to be able to solve it. We show this to them, and 5 minutes later, they're like, wow, this can really solve a lot of problems for me. So we've got a very rapid time to market and a very rapid ROI when we're talking with these large customers. So the Boardwalk data platform sits in the middle of all of this data. We can collect the structured data from the different systems of record, bring it automatically into the Boardwalk data platform. And then on the right side, this is an example of all of the unstructured data. So again, you've got Excel, which is probably the number one piece of unstructured data that's out there. But this continues to grow. This is 80% of information that's floating around an enterprise in emails and PDFs and Word files, all of that. And so while companies like Coca-Cola have spent literally billions of dollars on SAP trying to structure their data, they've only got 20% of their data in that structured environment. The remaining 80% is bouncing around. So off of the Boardwalk data platform, we're actually going after 3 early adopter markets with specific applications that we've built to help companies manage this data. The first is our Velocity product, which focuses on financial services. You guys may have seen press releases where we signed a very large deal with a top 5 bank in the world to help them to solve their spreadsheet problem, which is unstructured data. They have about 40,000 spreadsheets that are basically running the bank. I'm not kidding you. And off of those 40,000 spreadsheets, they were penalized by the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency $400 million and told, fix this problem. Boardwalk comes in after a lot of tries that this bank did to try and solve this problem. Our Velocity product solved it. We're rolling. We're best of breed. And we've got a whole bunch of other banks now that are coming at us wanting to use the same platform to solve problems for their issue as well. The second one I'll talk about is our digital data management. This is focusing on, again, transforming all of those unstructured documents, including a lot of spreadsheets that are out there where we'll build a lot of different applications, show you some examples and case studies on that. And then in the middle, we have this Radius Control Tower, which is a fairly new application that we've deployed that's focused on supply chain visibility. So if you think about supply chain and what's going on in the supply chain today, I sat down with Walmart as an example. And I said, what's your biggest problem? They said, we spent all this money on these structured systems of record, and they're all siloed. We've got hundreds of apps running. And when we issue a purchase order, by the time the product gets from purchase order to the shelf, 25 things go wrong. And when those 25 things go wrong, you may know about it in a siloed app, but other people don't know about it, and it affects them. There's no visibility across all these apps. So we've created a solution that's called Radius Control Tower that basically will absorb both the structured data, the unstructured data, and provide visibility into what's going on in an organization. And if you know 2 days in advance that product isn't going to be delivered on time, you can take action. If you don't know and it's a surprise, you lose sales. It's a big deal. And a lot of the problem with this data is that it's unstructured and no one is managing it. So that's what we're doing. By the way, this particular Radius Control Tower product, we're going to be co-presenting at the Gartner Supply Chain Conference in a couple of weeks in Orlando with Meta, who has deployed our Radius Control Tower within their organization. So let's talk about the three core areas that we're going after. Digital data management. So again, you guys know, you go into any company today, there's hundreds, sometimes thousands of mission critical spreadsheet applications that are running. These are called end user computing environments. And people build these spreadsheets because they don't have any other way to solve the problem, manage the data, bring it in. And so we have a solution that actually allows you to be able to digitally transform these spreadsheets onto our Boardwalk system and allow you to be able to then get time-based chaining of and providing history of what happens on all of these spreadsheets. So we routinely will go into a company, they might have 200 people working on a spreadsheet process like the bank. They're emailing these spreadsheets around, they're putting them on a file server. It's a mess. No one knows who made the last change. No one knows what version they're supposed to be on. You put this on Boardwalk in a matter of days or weeks. We turn that existing spreadsheet into an enterprise application on the fly right now. Huge value, complete auditability, aggregation, everybody wins. We had a lady at Citibank that said, what used to take me 3 days to aggregate the data from 200 different people around my organization now takes me 15 minutes with Boardwalk. Okay? Days to minutes of being able to automate a lot of these processes and allow them to continue to use Excel. So it's fast, it's secure, you can trace and have an audit trail on every single change that's made. It's pretty exciting. The second area that we're focused on is on the supply chain visibility. So again, there's been millions of dollars spent on these siloed systems. The story of Walmart where 25 things can go wrong from the time a PO gets issued to it gets on the shelf. There's no visibility across the supply chain. We create that visibility by absorbing the unstructured data, text files, video files, all kinds of different information that's coming in through email, through all kinds of other different channels. And we monitor all of that data that's coming in, and then we can provide signals through our control tower back to the people that are involved in this to say, you got a delayed shipment, you've got a quality problem, you've got this, you've got that, and then they can go and fix it. Now, not only do they want to go fix it, but the second thing is, want to know why. No one can tell them why today. We can tell them why because of the way in which we're managing the transactions and the data. So we're actually creating a digital twin of an aspirational supply chain process that allows them to be able to dig in and say, how do I do this better? And the really great companies going forward are going to spend a lot of time on this, a lot of energy on this. This is the focus. How do I control my data? How can I do better with the information that's flowing at me? So the value is better order fulfillment, better resolution, better customer satisfaction, increased revenue and earnings, and build out an operational advantage over the competition. This is why Meta did this. This is why we've got a pipeline of a lot of companies that are very excited about, for the first time, someone is coming at us saying they can help me absorb my unstructured data, marry it with my structured data, and give me signals to tell me when something is going wrong. So the last market that we're focused on is on the financial services, which is the Velocity product. The interesting thing is that with the Silicon Valley Bank blow up, which I live in Silicon Valley, I literally live 3 minutes from the headquarters of Silicon Valley Bank. I know the CEO personally. What a mess. Happy to talk to you guys about it later. But the net is the OCC, which is the regulatory body in the United States, was already pushing hard for more and more regulations. That's why they penalize these banks. You know, you're a bank, you get penalized $400 million. That that wakes you up, right? Because you got to solve the problem. Well, guess what? Every bank in the United States has got this problem. They got thousands of these spreadsheets. They're uncontrolled. They're not in compliance. And Boardwalk and our Velocity product has got the absolute best method of being able to absorb these spreadsheets, put them into our platform, and turn them into an enterprise quality, traceable, compliant environment. So we're doing really well in this particular area. So our sales and revenue model. So we are a SaaS business. We charge an annual SaaS license starting at $100,000 for the platform and then increasing up to $1 million. We think that most companies will pay us kind of $1 million on an enterprise license. We do have several companies that are paying us more than $1 million. The big bank in New York has paid us this year a couple million. Ernst & Young, which is a very big company that we work with in their tax technology framework, they've deployed our system, pay us, between $1 million and $2 million a year. So the market is absolutely there. We're very focused on obtaining new customers in our target markets. With our technology and our platform, I can go anywhere. But, you do that and you really get, you can get really messy out there. So we're very focused on 3 core targets today, which we think are going to be the early adopters, but certainly take this home. Every company in the world is going to need a method of being able to manage their unstructured data, and we really believe that we are the leader in the category. We also have a strategy called land and expand. So some of our existing customers today keep coming back to us saying, hey, I want more, I want more, I want more. So we see this increasing in ARR. Then we've got, so all of the stuff that we do for our digital data information and our radius control tower solution on supply chain is direct sales. On the financial services stuff and the Velocity product, we go through partners. So we landed this first big bank about a year ago. Since then, we've been soliciting other banks. We've got a bunch on the pipeline. You'll see some of additional ones closed this year. But in the meantime, we've also been soliciting and signing up a lot of partners, because a lot of the banks will go to their partner and say, hey, I got this problem with these spreadsheets. The OCC's all over me. Fix this. And we want the partner to then come to Boardwalk and say, and go back to the bank and say, Boardwalk is my partner for this. They've got the best solution. And then they will go out and do all of the behind the scenes hard work to deploy it. We just sign a license with the bank, high margin. They do all the work, which is what they want. And it's a win-win. So this is a list of some of our blue chip companies today. You can see I mentioned some of them before, but some of these companies have been customers for a while, long while. And we continue to work on what we call this land and expand strategy, where we're increasing the ARR off of each customer. The target segments that we're going after today: financial services, tax management, supply chain, and manufacturing. Some people would sit here in the audience and say, well, why aren't you going after biotech or healthcare? I don't have enough horses to be able to do that. So these are the markets that we're going after, and we'll expand into those other markets later. So let me walk you through a couple of case studies about why this is important. So one of our customers is onsemi. They're a, $8 billion semiconductor company in Arizona. And they've been a customer for a while. They came to us and said, hey, we've got a problem with RFQs. So in the chip business, you're getting in these big hairy spreadsheets with the requirements of the BOM or what the customer wants to be included in a chipset and asking you for a quote. So they're getting in 25, 30 of these RFQs a day, okay? And then that has to get distributed to 10, 12 different organizations or people within onsemi, who then were taking 10 days to get back with their quote for their piece, okay? So by the time they were getting back to the customer is going, man, I went out to Intel and I got a quote back in 2 days, and I went with them because I couldn't wait. So what we did was we looked at this and we said, so in 6 weeks, transformation from their existing process over onto the Boardwalk platform, we basically reduced their response time to 2 days, and that increased their sales conversions up to what is now over 20%, which was significant for them. So this is a great example of unstructured data that's flowing in, trying to get control of it. Once you get control of it and understand it and put it into a process, they now were able to reduce their response time, increase their sales conversions, 6x ROI, and this is sticky now, right? Like this is never going to go away within onsemi, okay? This is another example. This happens to be a consumer products company in New York. Your wife or a significant other probably wears their products. And we started working with them in February of 21. Our first project with them was 85,000 ARR. Our current ARR with them now, 26 months later is $300,000. And we're now rapidly scaling to $1 million of ARR by February of 24. And the reason that happens is we get in and they go, oh my God, you guys can solve this problem in weeks. We don't want to go out and spend a year or two with Accenture and SAP. The users love your user interface much better than any of those other applications because you can continue to use Excel as a user interface if you want. And bang, we just start knocking off problem after problem after problem in the enterprise, becomes very sticky. We call this land and expand, and we've got a complete team that's working on land and expand within the enterprise, within each of our enterprise customers for us. So let's talk about growth. So there's really 3 kind of key areas of growth as I talked about a deep focus on specific markets that we're going after. So the digital data transformation market, we think over the next 48 months, we can get 50 companies paying us $1 million ARR per year. The supply chain visibility, we think we can get 100 companies paying us $500,000 a year. And in fact, I think that might be light. The financial services potential is really big. We think that as the OCC continues to squeeze, as SVB and the blow-up of SVB is going to continue to push for more regulation in the banking industry. I hate regulation, by the way, but there is more coming in the banking industry that we could actually very easily see 50 banks adopting our solution at a couple $1 million a year. So you add all of that up and you go, okay, Andy, in the next 36, 48 months, you guys could be really rocking, and we're certainly seeing the evidence of that now with 90% ARR growth year over year on our last quarter that we announced. So we're really starting to pick it up, and I think you're going to see some great growth from Boardwalk. I want to point out that our technology is very unique. We've got 5 patents on this technology. We've got another 4 that are pending, and it is really disruptive and a new way of helping companies to manage both structured and unstructured data. Very rapid time to value, rapid ROI. When we sit down, these CIOs talk about a year or 2 with Accenture to actually deliver a product. We talk about literally 6 or 8 weeks, and we'll have this up and running for you. And they're really amazed at how quickly that can happen. And so we're going to continue to develop on the platform and also build out new products based upon specific vertical industries. Talk about creating shareholder value. I wake up every morning and the first thing I say to my wife is ARR. That's what I'm thinking about, okay? I don't care about anything else. I don't care about politics. I don't care if the Warriors are going to win tonight. I think about ARR, and that's really all I think about, and how quickly can we grow that. We've got a very focused sales and resource plan, both on direct sales and the partner side in the 3 core segments. So we are quite focused. We still are unprofitable, but we are on a path to profitability this year. And I think that that's kind of the last big hurdle when you look at our balance sheet and everything else that's going on out there. We're gonna get to profitability this year, which is exciting. And we're continuing to maintain a strong balance sheet. So when you look at kind of the financial highlights here. Again, people were talking about earlier session about the COVID. You know, it hurt us a little bit. People just weren't making decisions, but we're out of that now. We're not seeing that as a hangover anymore, and we're certainly starting to see our ARR and our revenue climb. We're also seeing our expenses reduce, so we are on a terrific path here toward profitability and great ARR growth. So our capital structure, 48 million shares outstanding. There's minimal number of options and RSUs that are outstanding out there. The warrants are nothing. There was a conversation yesterday at one of the things about warrants. They are a hangover, not here. We also have no debt on the company. So you see clean capital structure. You see no debt. We're not raising any money. We've got enough cash on the balance sheet to get us to profitability. So we really are a little bit different than a lot of the companies that are out there. And again, exciting times ahead. So why invest in Boardwalk? So SaaS model, high retention, 20 plus of the global global 1,000. And again, guys, I promise you, Ernst & Young does not take us and put us in their tax technology platform that they take out to thousands of their customers unless this stuff works, okay? Like, I can't tell you how deep we've gone on security audits and technology audits with massive companies whose reputations are at risk if we don't work. 71% of our revenue is from multi-year annual recurring SaaS licenses. The recurring revenue over the past 3 years, even with COVID, 55% CAGR, and our pipeline is now in excess of 7 million. Got a very sticky solution, so it's really hard for companies to rip us out. It doesn't happen very often, if at all. The land and expand strategy is great. We can really build up a lot of additional revenue from not only increasing that ARR at companies, but also introducing new products into those companies. There's a lot of revenue upside by adding NRR. The partner channel is expanding. We actually have partners that are calling us to say, will you partner with me? Financial highlights, we had announced last year before our fiscal year kind of gave what we thought we'd do this year. We are a March 31 fiscal year end, so we have not announced our year end or our Q4, but I will tell you that we are tracking at the high end of our guidance. Our ARR is already over 6 million, up 90% year over year. Really proud of that. 53 or 52% year over year improvement on EBITDA, debt free, solid balance sheet, tight capital structure, and a very experienced management team. So I am here all day. I'd love to talk to you in the hallway, and I've got some openings tomorrow afternoon if anybody wants to come and do the one-on-one. And I thank you guys a lot for listening to the story about Boardwalk. Thank you.